Subscriber will win the cool $1 million. Another lucky winner will take home another $1 million just 2 months after that. But wait, there's more. We've got loads of cash prizes to be won every week. Simply buy a minimum of $10 in credit or data. So the more you buy, the better your chances of hitting the jackpot. Nickel Millionaire 2.0. Join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. live on GRTS. AfriSoul, creating millionaires, changing lives.
Good evening and welcome to Star TV Newsroom, broadcasting from our studios in Kanifing along the Battle Harden Highway. I am Memleju Fadera, and many thanks indeed for joining us. First, the headlines tonight. National Assembly passes criminal offences and procedure bills, paving the way for Gambia's legal reforms. Vendors call for solutions amid plastic bag ban challenges. Local farmer calls for unified approach to agricultural challenges. Female circumcision ban challenge in Supreme Court as first hearings adjourned. On the internationals, Libya suspects NGO operations endangering vital aid for migrants and refugees. Israel cuts off 70% of Gaza's water supply municipality. Those were the headlines, so now the news in details. The National Assembly has recently passed the Criminal Offences Bill 2020 and the Criminal Procedure Bill 2020 with amendments, marking a significant milestone in the Gambia's efforts to modernize its legal framework. Mariam Adam reports.
National Assembly's passage of the Criminal Offences Bill and the Criminal Procedure Bill on March 28, 2025 represents a crucial step in completing long-awaited legal reforms. Originally introduced by former Attorney General and Minister of Justice Honorable Abubakar Tambedu during the 5th legislature, these bills were carried over and reintroduced by the current Minister of Justice, Dauda Ejalo, as part of an initiative to address unfinished legislative business. After the first reading, the bills went through the second reading, which is termed as the consideration phase, where lawmakers review the principles of both bills, ensuring they align with national legal frameworks and international standards.
I beg to move a motion that the bill entitled Criminal Offences Bill 2025, having gone through the consideration stage with amendment, be read the third time. I so move.
Any seconder? Member for Woolly East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion. Thank you.
The Criminal Offences Bill is particularly noteworthy as it marks the first comprehensive review of the Gambia's criminal code since its enactment in 1933. This bill strives to modernize criminal justice legislation by repealing outdated provisions that restrict freedom of speech, including laws related to criminal defamation and sedition. In addition to addressing these issues, the Criminal Offences Bill expands the jurisdiction of Gambian courts to prosecute individuals who commit offences and later enter the country, thereby eliminating the need for extradition. It also revises sentencing guidelines to better reflect contemporary realities.
Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that the bill entitled Criminal Offences Bill 2025, having gone through the consideration stage with amendments, be read a third time and pass. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Clerk, we may proceed.
Bill, Criminal Offences Bill 2025 is hereby deemed to have been read a third time.
Honorable members, the Criminal Offences Bill 2025 has been passed.
Similarly, the Criminal Procedure Bill represents the first comprehensive revision of the Gambia's Criminal Procedure Code since 1933. This bill modernizes legal procedures by introducing provisions for probation, parole, plea agreements, police supervision of convicts, alternative sentencing, corporate trials, private prosecutions, and enhanced protections for witnesses and victims. The bill establishes clearer guidelines for bail administration, reinforcing judicial discretion while ensuring a fair and efficient legal process. It upholds the right to fair and speedy trial by mandating reasonable timelines for prosecutions and court proceedings.
I beg to move a motion that the bill entitled Criminal Procedure Bill 2025, having gone through the consideration stage with amendments, be read the third time. I so move. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Any seconder? The member for Nyanija.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion.
Following extensive deliberations and amendments, both bills have been renamed the Criminal Offence and Procedure Bill 2025. These bills were among 6 carried over from the 5th legislature, received by the 6th legislature in December 2022 during the 4th ordinary session of the 2022 legislative year. During the third reading on Friday, March 28, 2025, lawmakers unanimously passed the bills, marking a significant advancement in the Gambia's ongoing efforts to modernize its criminal justice system and uphold the rule of law.
Members, it has been moved and seconded that the bill entitled Criminal Procedure Bill 2025, having gone through the consideration stage with amendments, be read a third time and passed. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Clerk, we may proceed.
Bill, Criminal Procedure Bill 2025 is hereby deemed to have been read a third time.
Honorable members, the Criminal Procedure Bill 2025 has been passed.
The passage of these 2 bills followed the adoption of reports from the Standing Committee on Human Rights and Constitutional Matters. Maria Madem, reporting for Star TV News.
The ban on plastic bags in the Gambia has sparked concern among vendors at the Serekunda market as the National Environment Agency enforces environment laws, including the prohibition of single-use plastic bags. Despite the efforts to curb their usage, plastic bags remain a visible presence in shops and stalls, with many still relying on them to store foodstuff. Hadijaju visited the market. She filed in this report.
Implemented in 2025. The ban aimed to reduce the environmental and health hazards posed by plastic bags. However, vendors urge that the enforcement of the law has negatively impacted their businesses. Lamin Mane, a vendor at the Serekunda market, stressed the need for authorities to target the source of the issue by stopping the importation of plastic bags into the country.
From there, do stop. Why do buy borom dole fofu non legi ba dole ndaw ñu ko jël bëgg am seen dépense fofu nga bëgg ñu arrest ñoy ñun té ñepp xam na né fi dara lu fi duggal dafa jaar ci port bi.
Banning people from using plastic bags without addressing their entry into the country creates difficulties for vendors who rely on them.
Echoing similar sentiments, Hadinjai urged the government to provide alternatives to plastic.
Génné dara dafa am lo fé tek. Tay ji so né da nga génné mbous da nga wara tek lay xamné moy repress mbous.
Before banning plastic bags, authorities should offer substitutes that support our business needs. For instance, ice blocks can be packed in other types of bags.
Another vendor, Alaji Jalo, proposed an innovative approach to tackling the issue. He suggested the establishment of factories that could recycle plastic bags into useful products, such as buckets, bowls and pipes.
Plastic bucket yo len de gis yep mbuus lañ ko dé défaré pipe yep mbuus lañ ko dé défaré nguur bi dafa wara try indi ay factory yo xamné ñu ngi ci biir dëkk bi ño xamné ñoñu dañoy gëna form mbuus yep.
Transforming plastic bags into other materials could be a sustainable solution rather than outright banning them.
In response to these concerns, Sheikh Alkinki Sanyang, Director of Environmental Education and Communication Officer at NEA, highlighted the dangers posed by plastic bags. He emphasized their role in hazardous pollution and their threat to human and animal health.
Most of the challenges we are receiving from the people is in terms of the ban on the plastic bags. People don't understand. By utilizing yourself with plastics, that means you are exposing yourself to extra health hazards from plastics, because there are three things that the plastics actually don't want it to happen. That is, we must not burn the plastic, because anytime you burn the plastic, the pathogens, that is the carcinogenic inside it, and they are dioxin and furan, which are also persistent organic pollutants. We create them, but we cannot destroy them, and they can compromise our health system.
Despite ongoing public awareness campaigns and the recent regional tour by NEA to engage stakeholders on the enforcement of environmental laws, the presence of plastic bags in daily use remains prevalent, raising questions about the practical implementation on the ban and the need for alternative solutions. For Star TV News, I am Hadijajo.
Farmer Abaji, a passionate farmer from the Gambia, has called attention to the numerous challenges plaguing the agricultural sector. Speaking in recent discussion, Baji stressed the importance of addressing issues throughout the farming cycle, ranging from production to post-harvest, processing, storage, distribution, and marketing. Awasani with the rest of the details.
Farmer Abaji emphasized that farmers cannot afford to focus on isolated problems while ignoring the broader systematic barriers that hinder progress, urging stakeholders to prioritize effective marketing as a pivotal strategy to drive agricultural growth. Highlighting the untapped agricultural potential of the Gambia, Baji also underscored the indispensable role of women farmers. He acknowledged, however, the societal and logistical obstacles they face due to multiple responsibilities, making it practical for women alone to transform the sector. Furthermore, he drew attention to the plight of male farmers who often lack land ownership and rely on borrowed or community land issues that pose unique challenges compared to those faced by their female counterparts.
The government is spending less than 10% of the budget in agriculture and still crying that agriculture is the backbone of the nation. And this is the tree. The third president, after independence, Jawara, we cannot achieve food sufficiency. Yeah, Jammeh, 22 years, we cannot achieve food sufficiency. 8 years of our new leadership, still we are crying for food. 81% of rice we are importing. And rice can be grown anywhere, because we have grown basmati rice in the Gambia for the first time. And of course, if it is possible in upland, why not lowland? So Gambia has all the potential. But unfortunately, women who realize the need for agriculture, they are the one in agricultural sector. That's why we cannot develop. Women cannot develop the country. Why I say that? Look at their role in the society. They have social role. They have economic role. They are taking care of our families. And at the same time, they are feeding us. 80%, look at the Njanjais. 3 o'clock, as early as 2:30, if you go to Brikama market, you find women there selling vegetables. Where are the men who can sell, who can become better middlemen? Help the women.
Baji made a compelling plea for unity among farmers, advocating for collective action and community-driven solutions rather than placing sole reliance on government interventions.
One can go 10 by 10 in a community land where she'll be traveling 5 kilometers every day, going and coming, only 10 by 10. How are you empowering that woman? What are they going to get at the end after spending that lots of time going trekking, even the trekking hours, traveling 5 kilometers to your garden, working on a 10 by 10, 10 meter 10, only to have one basket of onion? You say you empower the women, and they are the one doing the labor. So this is the problem in the Gambia. We have to change it. No nation can develop when the people are not skillful. They are not using the resources effectively, optimally. Or one sector or one gender is working, the other gender is sitting down. We have to come together.
He also outlined the potential for local cultivating certain fruits and vegetables, suggesting that reducing dependency on imports could significantly boost food security and strengthen the agricultural sector.
We were working together for long. If you look at me, Farmer is a permaculturist. Mr. Cole is an organic farmer. He called here Riverview Organic Farming. He's looking at exotic breeds, trees that we thought they cannot even grow in the Gambia, apple, strawberry, and he proves it they can. Farmer believes that we are losing our indigenous trees that we inherited, the kabas, the talos and others. We are losing them. So we work as a team. I train students from Gambia College. Thank God, almost 35, not too so. But out of them, the last batch of students, we were able to form them into a group. We call it sustainable agriculture. And that's where our power lies. We work together and we teach one another. We believe in sharing. We believe in helping, doing. To an extent, even nursery schools, we are helping them to establish food forests. So if that works, and these people are ready to listen to us, we can guide them because we are there as not only as technocrats, but we know the problems and we know the...
With 80% of Gambia's population engaged in farming, many of whom are women, Baji lamented the stark gap between ambition and reality. He criticized the government for allocating less than 10% of the national budget to agriculture, despite that the sector is the backbone of the economy. Such underinvestment, he urged, has left the country struggling to achieve food self-sufficiency, while technocrats with agricultural expertise remain confined to office roles instead of contributing directly to field work and innovation. Baji's insights reveal a pressing need for strategic reforms, collaborative efforts, and greater budgetary focus to empower farmers and elevate the Gambia's agricultural sector towards resilience and self-sufficiency. For Star TV News, this is Awasane.
A landmark legal challenge against the ban on female circumcision, also known as female genital mutilation or FGM, is underway in the Supreme Court. Almami Jiba, the National Assembly member for Foni Kansala, along with 7 other individuals, have filed a case against the Attorney General seeking to decriminalize the deeply rooted traditional practice. Awamodu Albaji attended the proceedings and he files in this report.
The practice of female genital mutilation had seen a rise in the country over the past years, often generating condemnation. The act was banned during the days of former President Yahya Jammeh, championed by gender advocates like Dr. Aissatou Toure. However, the plaintiff argued that the 2015 amendment to the Women's Act of 2010, which explicitly prohibits female circumcision through the insertion of new sections like Section 32A, and 32B, is unconstitutional. They contend that these amendments contravenes several fundamental rights and freedoms enshrined in the 1997 Constitution of the Gambia, specifically citing Section 17(1) and 2, Fundamental Human Rights and Freedom, Section 25, Subsection 1, Subsection C, freedom to practice any religion and manifest and propagate such religion, Section 28, Subsection 1 and Subsection 2, Rights to Culture, Section 32, Protection of Women, and Section 33, Subsection 2 and Subsection 3, Protection of Children. In their petition, Almami Jiba and co-plaintiffs are seeking the Supreme Court to declare the 2015 Amendment Act as ultra-vile, non and void. They are seeking an order to strike down Section 32A and 32B of the Women's Amendment Act 11 of 2015, effectively reverting to only Section 32 of the original Women's Act of 2010. Furthermore, they are requesting a declaration that the National Assembly acted beyond its legislative authorities when passing the 2015 amendment. During the initial court proceedings, the State Counsel A.A. Wakawa raised a preliminary objection, arguing that the Supreme Court lacked jurisdiction to hear the matter, referencing to Section 127 of the Gambian Constitution, arguing for the Supreme Court to dismiss the case. Representing Almami Jiba and the other plaintiff, lawyer Lamin J. Dabo, verbally requested an adjournment. He informed the 5-member panel of judges. headed by Chief Justice Hassan B. Jallow, that he had recently taken on the case and required time to familiarize himself with the relevant status and details of the matter. Acknowledging the lawyer's request, Chief Justice Hassan B. Jallow adjourned the case until Wednesday, 9 April 2025 at midday. Speaking to the press, lawyer Lamin J. Dabo reaffirmed his commitment to the case, describing it as a democratical process for the Gambia.
I will be representing all of them, but this is my first day in the case, and so I applied to the Honorable Court to give me time so that I can study the objections raised by the State Council, that this matter should not proceed to here, and that the Supreme Court of the Gambia should dismiss it or strike it out on jurisdictional grounds, that the Supreme Court does not have jurisdiction to hear the matter. So I've heard what the Learned State Council said, and on Wednesday I will be replying to his submissions.
Almame Jiba seized the opportunity to thank lawyer Lamin J. Dabo for his pro bono service to them, saying Justice Dabo did not ask them for any butut.
When we met him, he didn't even charge us for a butut as a consultation fee, or even to meet him in general to ask for something. So I think what I will do, ask the entire Gambian Muslim Ummah, the traditional leaders, the imams, the society, and people who are Gambians. We need to make a honorable prayer to lawyer J. Dabo for his truth. I am saying to you free, when we met others were charging us for 3 million, 6 million, 1.5 million, 2 million for a case. So he coming up to take this case pro bonus, free of charge. He didn't even charge us for a butut. So I'm also saying this, as Gambians, as loved ones, as Muslims, as traditional leaders, it is high time for us to pay him back.
This adjournment set the stage for further arguments and deliberation on the contentious issue of female circumcision and its legal standings within the Gambia. The outcome of this case could have significant implications for the enforcement of the ban on FGM and broader discourse surrounding cultural practices and human rights in the country. For Star TV, I am Modu El Baji.
While we now take a short commercial break, please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Send money to Gambia for free. You can now send money via MoneyGram to AfriMoney in Gambia anytime, anywhere. Simply go on to MoneyGram.com or the app and select Pay through AfriMoney to send. Make sure the receiver is registered on AfriMoney in Gambia or get them to dial *777# to register. Instantly, the money comes into their AfriMoney wallet. No hassle, no wait times, complete ease. Cash out at any AfriMoney agent or AfriCell outlets. Free cash out, no sending fees.
Running low on credit? Worry no more. With Lebalma, you can borrow up to $300 instantly with just 10% charge fee.
That's right, up to $300 to keep you calling, texting, buy data, and subscribing to other AfriCell services.
To activate Lebalma service, simply dial *232# and select the amount to borrow between $500 and $300 with 10% charge included.
But remember, to be eligible, your line must be active for at least 3 months.
This service is available upon subscription. You are in control of what you borrow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back after the short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, this is Star TV News. We now look at the news beyond our borders. Libya has suspended the operations of 10 international NGOs, including Doctors Without Borders. The organizations are accused of engaging in activities described as hostile acts. With more than 820,000 migrants in the country, there are growing fears that critical aid will no longer be available to those in their need. Al Jazeera's Malik Trainer reports from Misrata, Libya.
These families are camped outside the UN Refugee Agency building in Tripoli. They traveled thousands of kilometers to get here, fleeing the conflict in Sudan. They have nowhere else to go. Majida Juma says she was separated from her husband as they escaped from the fighting.
We try to be patient and stay in Sudan.
but life became intolerable. That's why we came to Libya. Now I am living in the streets here with my kids, waiting for any kind of assistance.
She is now fending for her 2 children alone on the streets. Like many other refugees here in Libya, she depends on help from international aid groups. But Libya's internal security agency has suspended the work of 10 international NGOs in the country, including Doctors Without Borders and the Norwegian Refugee Council. The aid agencies offer desperately needed medical and cash assistance in partnership with UNHCR. But Libya's security agency accuses them of being involved in what it considers hostile actions, like trying to settle undocumented migrants inside Libya.
The UNHCR was involved in committing acts that violate Libyan sovereignty, as it used an NGO to provide services to immigrants without the knowledge of the Libyan state. This constitutes an infringement of sovereignty and a violation of the rules of international law, international conventions, as required by the Libyan government.
UNHCR in Libya says it is one of the few organizations still operating in the country and is following up with authorities to seek clarity on the accusations. The UN's migration agency says there are more than 820,000 migrants in the country. Across Libya, anti-refugee and migrant rhetoric is on the rise. Many refugees here worry about being rounded up.
My biggest fear right now is that the Libyan government will detain me and my kids and take us back because there is a rising trend to expel foreigners.
Last month in Misrata, dozens of migrants were apprehended and detained in a security raid. That's created an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty among migrants and refugees here. This is the El Garara roundabout. In the past, you could find hundreds of migrants here looking for work, but now only a few dare to come out. Many fear they will be detained, so they stay off the streets. Libya has struggled with conflict and political divisions for more than a decade. Because of the fragile security situation, very few aid organizations operate in the country. And after the recent crackdown on NGOs, many are likely to leave, which means crucial aid won't reach those in need. Malik Traina, Al Jazeera, Misrata.
The Israel army halted the flow of water from Israel company Mekorot to the Gaza Strip, effectively cutting off 70% of the Palestinian enclave's total water supply. According to Gaza municipality spokesperson Hosni Mehani, the disconnection affects the main pipeline located in the Suyaja neighborhood in eastern Gaza City, where Israel forces have been conducting a military assault since Thursday. The reasons behind the interruption remain unclear, but we are coordinating with international organizations to inspect whether the pipeline was damaged due to the heavy Israel bombardment in the area, Mehani said. The stoppage may have either been caused by direct military activity or from a deliberate political decision by Israel authorities, he said. Al Jazeera's Ibrahim Al-Khalili reports from Gaza City.
In Gaza City, the taps are running dry. Israel has cut off the Mekorot water line, which accounts for nearly 70% of Gaza's drinking water. It couldn't come at a worse time for Palestinians as Israel ramps up its attacks throughout the Strip after breaking the ceasefire last month. There are few services Palestinians can rely on in northern Gaza, and temperatures are rising as the summer months approach.
Someone please see what we're going through. Our hearts are crying. We wish we had died in the south rather than come to Gaza City. There's no water to clean anything, no washed clothes, and the children aren't even clean. Even we, the women, are not clean. What can we do? We just need someone to show us mercy. We don't even have anything to wipe down our tents.
Israel is accused of weaponizing necessities such as electricity and water, controlling what comes in and out of the Strip. Mekorot is an Israeli company and one of the main sources of water for Gaza. The company operates under full and complete Israeli control. Those in Gaza say the closure will only worsen their dire situation.
The shutdown has affected nearly 90% of Gaza City's population. Today, the number of residents and displaced people in Gaza City is approximately 1.2 million. Majority of them are suffering a severe shortage of water.
Prior to October 7th, Gaza was already struggling with a chronic shortage of clean water because of its contaminated groundwater and Israel's years-long blockade. Palestinian civil servants say they are barely able to provide essential services.
When water is cut off, it becomes extremely difficult for the teams to access the water needed to extinguish fires. This means fires will continue to burn until alternative sources are found. However, all alternatives in Gaza are difficult.
Most of Gaza's remaining water facilities have been damaged or destroyed by Israel's continued bombardment. Drinkable water is becoming scarce throughout the Strip. The result of that has left many Palestinians not knowing where or when their next clean sip of water will come. Ibrahim Khalili, Al Jazeera, Gaza City, Palestine.
Well, before we end the news, a recap of our headlines. The National Assembly passes criminal offences and procedure bills, paving the way for Gambia's legal reforms. Vendors call for solutions amid plastic bag ban challenges. Local farmer calls for unified approach to agricultural challenges. Female circumcision ban challenge in Supreme Court as first hearings adjourned. On the internationals, Libya suspects NGO operations endangering vital aid for migrants and refugees. Israel cuts off 70% of Gaza's water supply municipality. That's all for this edition of the news. Do enjoy the rest of our wonderful programs. Once again, thanks for your company. Well, thanks for watching. Do have a wonderful night.